Assalamu Alaykum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. قال سبحانه وتعالى أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم خذ العفو وأمر بالعرف وأعرض عن الجاهلين صدق الله المولانا العظيم وقال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم ما زاد الله عبدا بعفو إلا عزا أو كما قاله النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم. All praises to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, our Lord, our Creator, and peace and blessings be upon Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, the final messenger. Today I wanted to speak about the important quality of forgiving people in our social lives and other things related to forgiveness. The first thing, our minds, because of our social construct, we wait for mistakes to happen so we can take advantage. Because socially, how the mind works is, oh, he made a mistake, I haven't made a mistake, I'm better. And that's how our brain says, okay, I'm better than him now. And that's a very, very negative mind, but that's how the mind works. And that's how from childhood, when kids are together, the one child says, oh, I'm faster than you. I'm stronger than you. And that's the competition that's stuck in our heads forever. So number one is teaching our minds and explaining to ourselves that this is not a game. Life is not a game. When we were on the playground as children, it was a competition, fine. But the life that we are living in our communities, that's not a game. It's a serious life. It's a serious part of our existence. Our Jannah, our Jahannam depends on it. So if we still act like children from the playground, then we're destroying our dunya and our akhirah. How are we destroying our dunya is, if you made a mistake, I'm making fun of you, so I'm destroying your social image. If I made a mistake, you're making fun of my social image, because that's your opportunity to get back at me. So I have dushmani for you, you have dushmani for me, and we're both spitting on each other all the time. We're both destroying our social life. And the akhirah is even worse, because religion teaches us to be forgiving. So number one step was get rid of the mind where we are waiting for something bad to happen so we can take advantage. And if you think about a fly, it's a very dirty animal. When it comes on the skin, what is it looking for? It moves around. Maki fly, when it sees a damage, it starts sitting on it. If its skin is ripped, it starts sucking on it. So it's a dirty animal, full of germs, but it takes advantage of the damage that's done. And if you study animals, some animals are those that enjoy death so they can eat the dead animal. I'm forgetting the term for them. But a specific type of animals, they're not carnivores, another word for it, where they only prey on dead animals. So those kind of animals like hyenas, vultures. It's a big bird. Vulture is a strong, powerful bird, and an eagle is a powerful bird. The difference is eagle flies and catches fresh prey, fresh meat. But the vulture looks for dead animals and then it eats it. So they say, dono ki parwaz, both fly high. But one has a very low ambition. It looks for garbage on the street to eat, and the other one flies high and does amazing achievements. But they both fly high. They have low standards. A fly, it looks for damage and then it starts sucking on it. If we become like that as a human, I'm waiting for something bad to happen so I can attack you, that's a very bad standard. It's a very dirty way of living, and sometimes it happens with people that we have too much competition with. So your brother, your sister, your cousins, and your spouse. A husband waits for the wife to make a mistake, the wife waits for the husband to make a mistake so they can attack each other. And the last place is aham asr, contemporaries. People of our age, our zamana, we take shots at each other. So we need to realize that that's a conscious thing that's happening in our minds. We're always competing and trying to look for faults in someone. So number one, there's a beautiful saying in Arabic, وَفِيكَ عُيُوبٌ وَلِلنَّاسِ أَعْيُنٌ. You have problems and weaknesses, and others have eyes. You have aib, and other people have ayn. They can see it. So that's number one strategy. That when I look for your faults, I have to realize you have eyes, you can see my faults. So why am I looking for your faults when I have faults? So that is how we need to understand, first of all, that I have faults. I shouldn't be looking for somebody else's faults. I have problems in my house. You have problems in your house. Why are we looking for each other's problems? I have financial problems. Maybe somebody else has financial problems. So why am I taking cheap shots at him? So when we get rid of this mentality, we become more understanding. So number one is get rid of that idea of looking for faults. In fact, when you see a fault, you pretend you never saw it. When you see a fault, the point is to pretend you never saw it, and that is called sharafat, nobility. Nobility is that you see a problem and the person is feeling embarrassed. So you pretend you never saw it. I'll tell you a story. One sheikh, he was known as Sheikh the Deaf. Sheikh the Deaf. So how he got that name is one day he was answering questions, and a brother came or a sister came, they asked an Islamic question, but in the meantime, they passed wind, they passed gas, they farted. So now the sheikh felt, oh no, this person is going to feel bad now, because they feel embarrassed. So he pretended he can't hear. He goes, say your question loudly, I can't hear you. Say your question loudly, I can't hear you, say louder. And the person felt like, oh, the Maulana Sahib, I think he's a little deaf, he can't hear me. So they said the question loudly, and they suddenly felt like, okay, alhamdulillah, he didn't hear me when I broke my wudu, he didn't hear me. And now the sheikh felt bad. If this person goes back out and he finds out the sheikh can hear properly, they're going to feel embarrassed. So he had to just let people talk to him loudly for a long time. He let people talk to him very loudly for a long period of time, because he had to make sure the person's izzat is not destroyed. So look at how he changed his behavior just because of, to make somebody feel comfortable. And that's called sharafat, nobility. So when somebody has nobility, they do big things for other people to hide their faults. When Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam in his life, his two wives, they did some planning against him, tried to limit his freedom. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala didn't like that, so he had sent a surah and told Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, this is what your wives are thinking and this is what they're doing, so we're letting you know. Now, Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam's turn to speak with them. I have to talk to you. So the Quran mentions, he mentioned a few things, وَأَعْرَضَ عَنْ بَعْضٍ, and he ignored some of the things. He mentioned few of the things, and he avoided some of the things. Why did he avoid them? Because when you bring it up, it's going to make his wife feel more offended. Like, oh, I made a big mistake. I shouldn't have said that. I shouldn't have done that behind his back. Because he knew his wife is going to feel bad, he just pretended he didn't know that information. He just didn't mention it. So sometimes we think like, oh, I'm smart, I know what she's thinking. I know what he's thinking. And we start thinking the worst. Scientifically, you may be right. If you know psychology, human behavior, human temperament, good for you. But why do you have to apply that to a family member? You're not a psychologist inside the house. If somebody is a psychologist, they can go to the clinic. In the house, we don't have to act like a psychologist. and say, I know what you're thinking. I know what's going through your mind. Because that way you make everybody feel tense, because they're like, oh, he knows what I'm thinking. I have bad thoughts. So once we get rid of that critical behavior, when we're too critical of other people, people can take a deep breath and relax and say, yes, he's not thinking bad about me. He's not thinking bad about me. He's not thinking negative about me. So people will make mistakes. Our kids, if you have kids that are growing up, sometimes teenagers, they make mistakes, they make bad decisions. We don't have to attack them right away. We let them grow. Be gracious with the mistakes of others. So that's the lesson for today. Be gracious with the mistakes of others. Somebody makes a mistake, you clearly seen it. You clearly seen it. Now, are you going to make sure everybody in the community knows? Or you're just going to ignore and forgive the person? Generally, our mind says, oh, I saw it. So what you saw it? But we feel like I won, I saw his problems, I seen it, I heard it from the first person. I have fresh news, I know exactly what happened. So what if you know? We need to desensitize ourselves from the faults of others, so we're not looking for the mistakes to happen, so we can take advantage of it. We should be thinking, oh Allah, please don't show me the weaknesses of others. Oh Allah, don't show me the weaknesses of others. And if they come to you and you find out, be gracious. And the ayat that I cited in the beginning is خُذِ الْعَفْوَ, take mu'afi, like adopt mu'afi and forgiving people. Adopt it. Use it as a strategy. Somebody's rude to you in the parking lot. Parking lot is a big place. Many times arguments happen in parking lots. Somebody's rude to you. Calm down. Maaf. He's angry, mu'af. It's cold, mu'af. It's tanda, mu'af. He's hungry, mu'af. He's angry, mu'af. I forgive him. He's rude, I forgive him. He's late for namaz, I forgive him. So once we have that kind of mind, we start forgiving more people. And خُذِ الْعَفْوَ وَأْمُرْ بِالْعُرْفِ, and encourage goodness, encourage good behavior from others and from yourself. So Nabi Sallallahu is being told, forgive people and encourage goodness amongst everyone. And وَأَعْرِضْ عَنِ الْجَاهِلِينَ, and ignore the ignorant people. Ignore the ignorant people. Because sometimes people will try to get on your nerves, try to act ignorant. So we say, no, I'm not going to bother with them. Although an ignorant person loves it when you start arguing and they start arguing, and it becomes like an amazing party of you spitting on him in bad words, he's saying bad stuff to you, and it becomes like a competition of how dirty can you be, how bad can I be. It becomes a competition of dirt throwing. Dirt throwing means like I say something bad about you, you say something bad about me. It becomes a dirt throwing competition. So sometimes our own jahalat that we are hiding, it wants to come out. We learned some bad words, we want to use it on someone. We know how to make somebody feel bad. So that jahalat wants to come out. We said, no. I'm not going to let my jahalat come out. This person is angry, he's showing his jahalat, I'm not going to show my jahalat. We all have a little bit hiding inside us, but we said, no. I'm going to take the sharafat way, I'm going to take the better way. So that's the ayat, and now the hadith that we recited was, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala only increases us in izzat when we forgive other people. مَا زَادَ اللَّهُ عَبْدًا بِعَفْوٍ إِلَّا عِزًّا. Allah doesn't increase a servant in anything except izzat, when he forgives people. So many times our brain tells us, don't be too nice. Don't be too nice. These people are going to abuse you. So we start thinking, no, I can't let nobody take advantage of me. Let me be very harsh. Harsh business, harsh in the masjid, hard at home, hard on the sidewalk, everywhere harsh, because somebody might take advantage of me. So if it's a situation where there's a big harm coming, you can avoid it. But little things we should take the other way out, just forgive people. Although we might say, no, he's going to become more bad. If I'm too easy on him, he's going to become more bad. Maybe he'll learn. Maybe he'll see our good akhlaq and say, oh, I should have been this nice. So, and that's why the Quran mentions, if somebody is being an enemy to you, be nice to them and they'll become your friends. And the more I study conflicts in racial situations, different situations, tribal fights, one qawm fighting another qawm, different parts of the world, they generally say, I was scared of that qawm, but then when I went to visit them, they were good people. It's always like that. You study the black gangs, white gang, this supremacy, that supremacy, the Arabs going to the west, west coming to the east, and you hear the same thing every documentary. I was scared of them, but then when I went to see them, they were good people. So that's how our brains are thinking. Everybody's bad, I'm good. But when you go there, you find out that person is also good. And suddenly our anxiousness, our pareshani goes down because you realize that person is not bad. As my brain was telling me, this person is really evil, he's not. So inshallah, may Allah give us a fiqh to clear our minds and be good people, and may Allah make it easy for us to enjoy every single moment of our life with a clear mind, with a clear conscience. May Allah make it easy for us to forgive their mistakes, and may Allah also make it easier for others to forgive our mistakes.